Aloha, welcome to the Lava Channel Market Take for Thursday, July 20th, 2023. Today is going to be what I call the cooked number special because we are expecting initial claims for jobless at 8:30 as well as continuing claims. We're going to be getting the Philadelphia Fed Index. And at 10 a.m., we're expecting existing home sales, the leading indicators, and natural gas inventories at 10:30. So the market rallied yesterday as we expected again. Pre-market right now, it is green so far. However, we've got a few other things in here, and as they are saying that the US recession appears less likely, according to economists, the Dow Jones Industrial Average eighth straight gain. This marks the longest winning streak since September of 2019. That's 4 years. Last month, investors pumped $45 billion into stocks. These are the biggest inflows seen in over a year, just last month. So kind of sounds like a melt up to me. We'll see. People are gambling in a completely disconnected market, desperate for gains to outpace inflation risk. And we'll see if it's worth it. We are, in my opinion, overdue for at least a small pullback. But with no news to check it, continuation to the high side is possible. We're not expecting more of the rates until next week because the Fed is in their blackout period. And we're coming into strong resistance levels for both the Dow and the NASDAQ. I was speaking about that 16,000 level yesterday. For the NQ, it did hit it and reject, but it's still at that level. So our earnings week does continue. It's mostly positive for airlines, travel, and housing. These are lagging numbers. Reports for the housing builder, kind of mixed. As of right now, our MMRA number is 236 for the risk indicator, so it's kind of holding. Crude is up slightly. We've got gold and silver up slightly, but these are still in long-term buying opportunity range. Just my opinion, not financial advice. The 10-year Treasury, it's rising to 3.79 at this moment. It's higher ahead of the jobless claims. We've got crypto is also ticking higher. It is holding about that 30,000 level. An important thing to note also is that Asian markets is down over slowing economy concerns. And so that's kind of giving American markets a boost because the money has to flow. So on the macro side, I'm going to give my shameless plug before I start that. Quick note and reminder, if you like any of this content, please take a moment, just takes a second, hit that like, really makes a difference. And I appreciate that tremendously. Thank you so much for everybody supporting. Okay, so I've got some reality checks I would like to go over longer term. One of them is the layoffs. This is talking about Binance in particular in this section, but it's a list of all the some of the corporations that are cutting jobs and how much. And basically, what we're looking at is that corporate layoffs are averaging close to 13% of the workforce so far. We've got some companies that are being a little more conservative. They're going, 7-8% of their workforce, waiting to hold on to those laborers. They had a difficult time getting them. And then you've got others that are looking forward. Most of the larger companies are cutting closer to 13%. We've got office vacancies that just hit an all-time high. Despite the fact that more people are returning to work in person, it's still not happening in enough. So offices is just that commercial real estate bubble. It's just still tanking. On the other side of it, we've got buyers that are finally getting rejected for loans at the fastest rate in 5 years. So we're going to start seeing those defaults. Banks are now beginning to react to that and not giving out these loans to just everybody so far. Construction on new homes snapped the uptrend. The single-family housing starts did drop 7%. So it is hitting it down. We've got right now, I'm going to go to this first, the cooling demand on businesses. This is regarding Ford. With a huge loan, they dropped their pricing on their Lightning, which is their electric truck version. Do want to go back to this story? Some San Francisco Safeway stores, and they're not the only ones, they're adding gates barring shoppers from leaving unless they scan a receipt. So there's been a lot of, we've been watching this in the news, higher crime, more pilfering, a lot of people that are just basically shoplifting, taking large amounts from stores, not paying, and running out. We've got this other story talking about the housing market nearly non-existent because inventory has slowed, and I think that's holding the housing market right now. That this is expected to break because people right now are in what we call golden handcuffs. They've got the low interest rates that they got for the 30-year, and they can't afford to put their house on the market and move because they can't pay the high interest rates at a new place. We're expecting there is another on the market melt up, the Airbnbs. And so once the short-term rental prices, they're going down, kind of broad scale. And as soon as the Airbnbs start coming back on the market in this reverse spin up, I think that they're going to bring down the housing market because it's going to cause that supply glut of the supply and demand. So, looking at that happening, going back to the crime, as this more crime is happening, people are getting desperate. They are also beginning to take the bus and public transportation. And so this is one more step toward owning nothing, which is just what the World Economic Forum is kind of saying, we'll own nothing and be happy. Klaus is probably smiling. Well, I don't know if he does that sort of thing. I haven't seen Klaus really smile. So we've got a new term alert. They're now referring to people as unhoused people, not calling them homeless anymore. They're unhoused people. And so, gotta ask, are they concerned about how you refer to them with their pronouns? I mean, people are literally getting cooked in the Arizona heat wave. And this is just terrible, terrible news. While the US is still approving billions in dollars more to the Ukraine war, and we've got so much homelessness in the US back on the streets. I mean, I'd like to know how's homelessness in your area. Make a comment. Let me know. I know that certain areas it's just really coming about rapidly. So I wanted to make another note. Reverse sectors from the pandemic moves. From that beginning, we saw the used car kind of spin up, the melt up, and I think it's coming back down and collapsing. Used cars, Carvana, the office space, the commercial, we're watching that wind down, and now the Airbnbs are just beginning. I believe we're also going to see some of the tech, the equipment. Everybody that made those purchases for remote work, I think those numbers are going to be coming down. Nobody's going to be making those types of purchases. Electronics in that. And then also we'll see travel and discretionary dwindle. And as we said, more of these loans are slowing down. And Affirm, which has been a major way that people are paying for these, aside from credit cards, will begin to choke. So Affirm has been on an absolute tear as people have been signing up for the buy now, pay later. You could even pay with your Starbucks with Affirm on payment plans. I don't understand how that works or how people get to that. That's insane to me, but I'm expecting that to wind down. And so there was one last thing I wanted to leave you with. I'm going to also put a link to this in the description because I think this is important. So I saw this article, this is the 150 most important people at BlackRock. So why is this important? Well, BlackRock has now over $1 trillion under management. And I was just speaking yesterday about how they hired a Saudi Aramco head. Well, these people are going to give Jamie Dimon a run for his money because basically the manipulation from these guys is going to be ridiculous. There's a little more quiet about it at the moment, but I think knowing who the characters are behind this is important. I will be looking into more of this as well, but I wanted to put this in because I do think that this is something to keep an eye on. We'll see. Let me know if you think this is also important. Give me your thoughts down in the comments. So with that, I wish you all a green trading day. I've got to get this off running a bit late. I also wish you just a wonderful day in general. And I'll see you again in the morning. So until then, my friends, stay free.